Hello, welcome to my channel and to another whisky tasting on Dram Du Jour. Today it's something a bit different. It's the Belvenie Week of Peat. Story goes that for over 20 years, I think maybe back in 2002, the distillery manager Ian Miller had a trip to the island of Islay to see how Islay whiskies were made. And when he came back, he was intrigued to find that by looking at the schedule, he discovered that Belvenie had a week of no production. And he came up with the concept of distilling a peated whiskey for 1 week a year. They called it, unsurprisingly, the Week of Peat. And this is the latest one. It's a 17-year-old. I was actually given it to me as a gift from a friend of mine. So thank you, Ross. Let's first of all look at it. Golden in colour. It looks lush, quite frankly. So let's pour it into the glass and then see what we get. First and foremost, we'll check the legs on it. Yes, very viscous. You'd expect this one to be quite oily, as I've no doubt it would be. So for those of you unfamiliar with the process of using peat to fire up the furnace, essentially it gives off what's called phenols, which are the aromas that you get in the whiskey, which smell medicinal, smell of hospital, smell of bandages. Most popularly, I think if you speak to people about peated whiskey, they'll immediately jump on Laphroaig or Ardbeg. Indeed, Lagavulin is another great one. In fact, they're the three most southerly distilleries on the island of Islay, and they are, I think, the only three that actually use peated malt in their process. Anyway, Belvenie managed to get some Speyside peat. They fired up the furnaces with that, and this is the net result. The last week of peat that I tried was a 14-year-old. This one's laying down for a bit longer. This is 17, and so the cask will have absorbed even more of the phenols. So I'm interested to see what we get. So first and foremost, on the nose, yeah, smoke as you would expect. Quite floral, actually, quite sweet, rich. There's a bit of citrus in there, but not edgy citrus, if that makes any sense, like a candied fruit. And then beyond that, there's something else that I'm struggling to get at the moment. Yeah, there's a bit malt in there as well. And that sweetness at the very end, malty sweetness, like tablet or like fudge. So much for the nose. It's very lovely. It's not overwhelming. It's not like sticking your nose into a glass of Laphroaig, a young Laphroaig, for example. Let's taste it. Okay, couple of things that I get. Number one, magnificent mouthfeel. It's coated the entirety of the inside of my mouth. That's very lovely. It's not what I expected at all, because there's no massive throat punch with the peat. It's very, very mellow indeed. In fact, very sweet. And now it's drying off. Remarkable. Lots of vanilla, as you would expect. Vanilla and oak in equal proportions. Quite a well balanced dram. Yeah, I like that. Lots of sweetness in the mouth. I'm liking this quite a lot, actually. The finish, you can tell it's quite a powerful dram. I'm thinking high end of the 40s. Let me see what it is. Not telling me on the tube there that easily. And it's 49.4, so it's almost 50% ABV. But again, I'm not getting that throat punch, and I'm quite glad about that, because a lot of whiskies are all punch, all fur coat and nae knickers, as my granny used to say. But this one, very, very pleasant indeed. Very full-bodied. That smoke lingers there, but the overwhelming finish that I'm getting is of fruits that you would boil in a saucepan on your cooker. That's really nice. Lots of vanilla in there as well, and there's a tingle, there's a kick coming from something else. quite Christmassy. So cinnamon on the finish there. This is a lovely dram. Now, I don't normally drink whiskey neat, but I could see myself drinking quite a lot of that neat. Let's see what it's like when I add some water to it and see what happens if it does indeed open it up. Oh, that's very pleasant. Very, very pleasant indeed. So, there's still some smoke there, but it's faint. The overwhelming taste is vanilla, sweet fudge maybe, and again, malt, like Ovaltine. I like that a lot. Really, really very pleasant dram. Don't let the fact that it says peat on the label put you off. Up until probably 3-4 years ago, I was completely against peated whiskies, and then I guess my taste developed, it matured, and my wife brought me an Ardbeg, and I was a bit cautious about it, but over that weekend I had a couple of Islay whiskies, and my taste has changed. I think I've possibly grown up as I'm not going to say connoisseur, as an enthusiast, a whiskey enthusiast. How's about that? And now I can appreciate it. I'm still not the type that would